So today our topic is about sedatives and hypnotics. And hypnotics. Sedatives and hypnotics. So sedatives and hypnotics, these are the agents which are studied under the pharmacology of central nervous system. So first let us discuss what are sedatives. What are sedatives? Sedatives are the drugs which calms down the person without inducing the sleep and will decreases the response of the body is called sedatives. These are the drugs which will decreases the response of body without inducing the sleep. Drugs which decreases the response of the body or which calms down the body without inducing the sleep are called sedatives. So we have completed the definition of sedatives. What are hypnotics? Hypnotics. What are hypnotics? Hypnotics are the drugs which decreases the response of the body and which induces the sleep. Drugs which induces the sleep. Drugs which induces the sleep are called hypnotics. So we have completed about the definitions of sedatives and hypnotics. Sedatives are nothing but these are the drugs which decreases the response of the body and calms down the body without inducing the sleep are called sedatives. Drugs which calms down the body and reduces the response of the body and induces the sleep are called hypnotics. So we have completed the definitions of sedatives and hypnotics. So these sedatives and hypnotics are termed as global CNS depressants. These are called global CNS depressants. These are called as global CNS central nervous system depressants. So why these are called as global CNS depressant means it is induced with action of GABA receptors. When GABA receptors are activated, it induces the sleep. So these are called global CNS depressants. But there is one exception for this global CNS depressant. These global CNS depressants do not include barbiturates. They do not include barbiturates. Barbiturates are excluded from these global CNS depressants. So these sedatives and hypnotics are called as global CNS depressant except the barbiturates. Now, what is the first type of sedative which was studied and used means the first type of sedative which was discovered and used was the first type is bromide. Bromide was the first type of sedative which was used to decrease the response of the body without inducing the sleep. And by further studies, there are more than one type of sedatives and hypnotics. Like examples are like GABA receptor agonist, These are one class of drugs which are treated as sedatives and hypnotics, like GABA receptor agonist, and next one is melatonin agonist. One is GABA receptor agonist, melatonin agonist, and next one is chloral hydrates. This is chloral hydrates, and next one is meprobamate. So these are some important types of sedatives and hypnotics which are studied. Now let us again discuss about this, that are sedatives which decreases the response of the body without inducing the sleep, and hypnotics are the drugs which induces the sleep. And these sedatives and hypnotics are also called as global CNS depressants, which do not include barbiturates. So what is the first type of sedative is bromide, and other sedatives and hypnotics are global GABA receptor agonist and melatonin receptor agonist and chloral hydrates and meprobamate. So this is some introduction about sedatives and hypnotics. So what are the substance or what are the drugs which comes under sedatives and hypnotics? So what are the drugs which comes under sedatives and hypnotics are the first type of drugs which comes under sedatives and hypnotics are called benzodiazepines. These are the first group of drugs which are studied under sedatives and hypnotics, and the second group of drugs are called barbiturates. This is the second group of drugs which are studied under sedatives and hypnotics, that are barbiturates. And the last most important drug class which is studied under sedatives and hypnotics are called alcohols. So these are the three different types of sedatives and hypnotics which are classified under as benzodiazepines, barbiturates and alcohols. Now let us discuss one graph. Y-axis and this is x-axis. So on x-axis let us draw dosage forms. Here it is dosage and here it is CNS effect is increasing. As the dose increases, the CNS effect will be increases. So within this let us consider some categories. That is, first category is paradoxal distinction. First category is paradoxal distinction, and the next category is sedation and anxiety. and anticonvulsants. So this is second category. And while we increase the dose, the next category is hypnotism. This is the next category. As the drug dosage form increases, next CNS effect is anesthesia. This is the next form, and as the dose increases, next one is medullary depressions. It is depression. The next category, and next one is as the dosage form increases, next effect is coma. And when person undergoes coma, as the dosage form of the sedatives and hypnotics are given, person result into death. So this is some important graph to be remembered by a bright student. That is, on x-axis we take dosage forms, on y-axis we take the effect of central nervous system. So how this graph is related with sedatives and hypnotics like barbiturates and benzodiazepines. So let us consider barbiturates and alcohol. First, effect of barbiturates and alcohol. So whenever the person is taking the barbiturates and alcohols, when normal, let us consider this is the effect of, this red colored effect is the effect of barbiturates as well as alcohols. So whenever the normal dosage form is given, person undergoes paradoxical distinction. So as the dosage form increases, it results in sedation. So as the dosage forms increases, person results in hypnosis. So as the person undergoes hypnosis, as the dosage form of sedatives and hypnotics like barbiturates and alcohols are given, person will, then the dosage forms acts as anesthesia. So when it is acting as anesthesia, as the dosage form increases, then the person undergoes depression. This person will undergo depression. So whenever a depressed person is given more dosage form of sedatives and hypnotics, it may undergo coma. Person will undergo coma. So whenever a person is in coma, when he is administered large dosage form of sedatives and hypnotics like barbiturates and alcohol, then the person who is in state of coma may undergo death process. So this is the graph which shows the straight line, that is barbiturates plus alcohols. Barbiturates plus alcohol. So this is the effect of barbiturates and alcohol on a person's body. That is, whenever a normal dose is given, it results in paradoxical distinction. If dose increases, it results in sedation, anxiety, and anticonvulsant drugs. And if the dose increases, person undergoes hypnotism. If more dose is given, it works as anesthesia. If more dose is given, the person will undergo depression. If more dose is given, person may undergo coma. If a person is in state of coma, if more dosage form of barbiturates and alcohols are given, then person will lead to death. So this is a graph of barbiturates and alcohol. So we have completed about barbiturates and alcohol. Now what is the effect of benzodiazepines on this graph? Means whenever, let us consider this green color one is the, this green color one is the, sorry, now let us consider this red color is barbiturates and green color one is the barbiturates. So whenever person is taking these barbiturates, these benzodiazepines, then first it may undergo paradoxical distinction. As the dosage form increases, person undergoes sedation. So as the sedation increases, person undergoes hypnotism. So person undergoes hypnotism. As the dosage form increases, these hypnotism will act as anesthesia. These drugs will act as anesthesia. So as the dosage form increases, these anesthetic drugs will work as antidepressants. It will work as depressant. So it reaches at this stage of depression. So whenever as the benzodiazepine concentration or dosage form is increases, paradoxical distinction will lead to sedation and anxiety will lead to hypnotism, and hypnotism will lead to anesthesia, and anesthesia leads to depression. Now, as let us talk about here, when the barbiturates and alcohols are reached to depression, as the dosage form increases, depression leads to coma, and coma led to death. Now, whereas in case of barbiturates, when a person is undergoing depression, then as the dosage form is increases, there is no chance of converting the depression patient into coma. Then it becomes stable. It will be like this. It becomes stable. So one point to remember is, whenever a large dosage form of benzodiazepines is given, there is no chance of coma as well as death. So this is a graph of benzodiazepines. So this is a graph of benzodiazepines. So this red color graph is about barbiturates and alcohol, and this green color one is a graph benzodiazepines. So we have completed about graph of barbiturates, alcohols and benzodiazepines. Now, as we know that the main action of sedatives and hypnotics works on GABA receptors. So let us discuss some information about GABA receptors. GABA receptors. So, what are GABA receptors? These GABA receptors are classified under three categories. GABA A type, and next one is GABA B type, and next one is GABA C type. So these are the three different types of receptors: GABA A, GABA B and GABA C receptors. So let us consider one neuron. Let us consider these are three neurons. So on the surface there are GABA receptors are present. So this is GABA A type receptor and GABA B type receptor and as well as GABA C type receptor. So what is the action of GABA A, GABA B and GABA C type of receptor? So whenever any neurotransmitter, let us consider a neurotransmitter is stimulating this GABA A type of receptor. So this GABA A type of receptor is associated with inhibitory signal. That is, whenever this GABA A receptor is activated, its action is inhibitory action. It will inhibit the next receptor. So whenever this A type of receptor is activated, GABA A type of receptor is activated, it sends the intracellular signaling. So intracellular signaling process will be taking place. So intracellular signaling process will be taking place. Now on surface of the membranes there are special chloride channels are present. These chloride channels are present. So whatever the intracellular signaling which is happening will activate these chloride channels. As chloride channels are activated, so the concentration of chloride outside the cell is more when compared to the concentration of chloride inside the cell. So as a result, there will be more influx of chloride ions. There will be more influx of chloride ions. So GABA A receptor is associated with opening of chloride ions. It is associated with opening of chloride ions. So when the chloride ions are entered inside, electronegativity within the cell will get increased. So whenever electronegativity within the cell increases, ultimately there will be no further action potential. It results in repolarization and hyperpolarization. As a result, it gets inhibitor signal. So this is the action of GABA A receptor, which is associated with opening of chloride channels. That is opening of chloride ions. So this is the action of GABA A type of receptor. So coming to GABA B type of receptor. So what is GABA B type of receptor means? Let us consider same. Any neurotransmitter like dopamine is entered inside the cell. So these GABA B type of receptor will activate the intracellular signaling. This intracellular signaling is activated. So when neurotransmitter attached to GABA B type of receptor, it will activate G inhibitory protein. So this G inhibitory protein will inhibit the adenylyl cyclase. It will inhibit the adenylyl cyclase. So when adenylyl cyclase is inhibited, there is no conversion of ATP into cyclic AMP. If the cyclic AMP levels within the cell is decreased, there will be no activation of calcium ions. Ratherly, whatever the calcium ions which are decreased, there are special potassium pumps are present. These are potassium pumps. So when there is low levels of calcium cyclic AMP, it will triggers the potassium ions, potassium channels. So whenever there is activation of potassium channels, as cell is known as bags of potassium floating in sodium. So as the inside the cell the potassium concentration is more, as a result whenever these potassium channels are open, the potassium will be jumped outside. As a result, the potassium will be moving outside. So whenever the potassium is moving outside, the electronegativity within the cell will get decreased. So whenever the electronegativity within the cell get decreased, ultimately whenever the potassium is moving out, electropositivity within the cell will get decreased. So whenever electropositivity within the cell will get decreased, ultimately there is increase in electronegativity. If there is increase in electronegativity, that means there will be increase in repolarization and ultimately there will be hyperpolarization. As a result, it results in inhibitor, that is resistance contraction. So this is the effect of GABA B receptors, which is associated with potassium openings, whereas this GABA A receptors is associated with chloride ions, whereas GABA B receptor is associated with potassium ions. Now what is the action of GABA C type of receptors? So when C type of receptors is activated, how this C type of receptor is mediated means, let us consider it is a ligand. Ligand is attached here. So there is a unique feature about this GABA C type of receptor when compared to A and B. A is activated by chloride ions, B is activated by potassium ions, whereas C is activated by ligand, that is ligand operated. That is ligand operated channels. So it is also associated with G inhibitor proteins. So whenever G inhibitor proteins are activated, so it is also associated with same process, that is these are chloride channels. Let us consider these are the chloride channels. So G inhibitor protein with the help of cyclic AMPs, it will activate these chloride ions, chloride pumps. So whenever there is activation of chloride pumps, there is influx of chloride ions. So if there is increase in chloride ion concentration, ultimately there is decrease in electropositivity. If there is decrease in electropositivity, ultimately there will be increase in electronegativity. If there is increase in electronegativity, then there will be repolarization and hyperpolarization. There will be no action potential generated, ultimately will result in sleeps. So this is the action of GABA A, GABA B and GABA C type of receptor, which plays main role by the action of sedatives and hypnotics. These sedatives and hypnotics which are given to our body will work on these type of receptors, like GABA A, B and C, and next one is melatonin receptors, which is also having same functions. So these are GABA receptors. So now let us have a discussion on the active sites of sedatives like barbiturates, benzodiazepines and alcohols. Let us consider a G protein. Let us consider G protein. So on G protein, the center part is associated with chloride ions and which have 3 subunits. So which have 3 subunits, which is made up of 2 subunits, totally which have 6 subunits. Now let us consider 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this is the first subunit, that is alpha subunit. That is first one is alpha subunit, and Next type of subunit is beta subunit. This alpha, next one is beta, and next type of subunit is gamma subunit. So these are the three subunits which are surrounded by chloride ions. So where does the sedatives and hypnotics binds to these subunits? Now GABA will attach with alpha receptors, alpha subunit. That is, GABA will bind with this alpha subunit. It will be binding with alpha subunit, whereas barbiturates will bind with beta subunits. Barbiturates will attach with beta subunits. Now, benzodiazepines will attach with gamma subunits. So, GABA receptors are associated with alpha receptors. So GABA will associate with alpha subunits. Barbiturates will associate with beta subunits, whereas these benzodiazepines will attach with gamma subunits. Now, these gamma alpha subunits divide into two branches. One is alpha 1 type and alpha 2 type. So alpha 1 type and alpha 2 type. So whenever alpha 1 subunit of alpha subunit is activated, it results in inducing the sleep. It induces the sleep. Sorry, it induces sedations. It results in sedation. So whenever alpha 2 subunit is activated, then it results in anxiety, etc. It results in anxiety and etc. So, which is also having same, that is benzodiazepines, which is also having gamma 1 and gamma 2 subunits. So gamma 1 and gamma 2 subunits, and whenever it is alpha 2 receptor is alpha 2 subunit activated, it results in anxiety and muscle relaxation. Next one is muscle relaxation and anticonvulsant action. So it is also having same gamma 1 plus gamma 2 receptor. So whenever gamma 1 is activated, it results in sedations. Whenever gamma 2 is activated, it results in anxiety, muscle relaxations, and next one is anticonvulsants. So this is action of benzodiazepines and barbiturates and action of GABA receptors. Now, first let us discuss about, before going into detail, let us have short study on sleep. So sleep is divided into two categories. One is rapid eye movement and next one is non-rapid eye movement. So rapid eye movement, that is sleep. Rapid eye movement, non-rapid eye movement. Rapid eye movement is comprises of 30% of people. Rapid eye movement comprises 30% of people. Whereas non-rapid eye movement is divided into stage 0, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 and stage 4. So out of this stage 2 it comprises of 50%. So this stage 4 sleep is also called night terror. Is also called night terror, and stage 0 is also called awake period. That is awakened period. So this is about some sleep. Now let us discuss. So this is also called allosteric modulation. Now what are the drugs which are used to study these allosteric modulations are like Muscimol, MUSCIMOL, Muscimol and Gabaxodol. So these are the two drugs which are used to study about the allosteric modulations. That is to study about this. Now let us have discussion on benzodiazepines. Our topic is about benzodiazepines. So the structure of benzodiazepines is made up of one benzene ring as well as one 7-membered diazepine ring. It is combination of one benzene ring as well as plus 7-membered one diazepine ring. So where does these benzodiazepines are synthesized present in our body means in limbic system and ARAS system and brainstem as well as cerebellum. Now if we study about the classifications of, before going into study of classifications, let us study the mechanism of actions of benzodiazepines. That is mechanism of action. So mechanism of action can be studied by two methods. Whenever these benzodiazepine entered into our body, it may have two chances. One is it may bind on benzodiazepine gamma subunit 1 type of receptor, or else it may bind on benzodiazepine gamma 2 type of receptor. It may work on gamma 1 type of receptor, it may work on gamma 2 type of receptor. So whenever benzodiazepines are activated, it induces the sleep. These are sedatives and hypnotics. So whenever these benzodiazepines gamma 1 subunit is activated, it induces the sedations. It induces sedation. So whenever benzodiazepine gamma 2 subunit is activated, it results in anxiety. It results in anxiety, muscle relaxation and anticonvulsant action, and so these are some effects of benzodiazepine gamma 2 type of receptors. So this is about mechanism of action of benzodiazepines. Whenever it is attached with gamma 1 subunit, it results in sedations. Whenever it is attached with gamma 2 subunit, it results in anxiety, muscle relaxation and anticonvulsant drugs. So this is about mechanism of action. So let us study the classification of benzodiazepines. So these benzodiazepines are classified into 3 classes. Class 1, class 2 and Class 3. Benzodiazepines are classified into three classes: class 1, class 2, and as well as class 3. So these class 1 drugs are also called as anticonvulsant drugs. These are called as anticonvulsant drugs. And class 2 drugs are also called as hypnotics. Class 2 type of drugs are called hypnotics. And class 3 type of drugs are also called as anti-anxiety drugs. The anti-anxieties. These are anticonvulsants, hypnotics, and anti-anxieties. So out of these class 1 are long-active benzodiazepines. These are called long-active benzodiazepines. These are long-active benzodiazepines, whereas class 2 benzodiazepines are called ultra-short-active benzodiazepines. Ultra-short-active benzodiazepines, whereas class 3 are called as short-acting benzodiazepines. Short-acting benzodiazepines. So, if we come to the metabolism of class 1, class 2, class 3, these class 1, class 2, class 3 are metabolized in the liver itself, whereas it is divided into phase 1 and phase 2. Out of this, phase 1, let us consider class 1. Out of this is phase 1 and this is phase 2. This is metabolism. Phase 1 of metabolism is taking place with the help of enzyme called cytochrome P4, cytochrome P3A4, that is 3A4, cytochrome P3A4. Whereas phase 2 of metabolism of class 1 benzodiazepines is taking place by glucuronide transferase enzyme. That is glucuronation. Whereas coming to here, we discuss the metabolism of class 2 type of benzodiazepines, that is the phase 1 of metabolism of hypnotics takes place with the help of same enzyme, that is cytochrome P3A4 enzyme. Cytochrome P3A4 enzyme. So that is phase 1 metabolism. Coming to the phase 2 type of metabolism, that is phase 2 of metabolism of class 2 sedatives that are hypnotics are taking place by the help of enzyme called fast glucuronide transferase, that is fast glucuronation. So this is the metabolism which takes place in the class 2 type of benzodiazepines. Now coming to the metabolism of class 3 type of benzodiazepines, it is also same. Phase 1 of metabolism of class 3 benzodiazepines, that is anti-anxiety drugs, is taking place by the help of enzyme called cytochrome P3A4 enzyme, that is phase 1 of metabolism. Whereas phase 2 is taking place with the help of enzyme called direct glucuronide transferase, that is direct glucuronation. direct glucuronation. So this is about metabolism. So there are different types of drugs are classified under these anticonvulsants, hypnotics and anti-anxieties. So let us discuss the names of some drugs. Now, what are the drugs which are studied under these anticonvulsants are called? First one is diazepam. Diazepam is the first drug, and next one is clonazepam. Next one is nitrozepam. Diazepam, clonazepam and nitrozepam. So these are the drugs which are classified under anticonvulsant drugs. So next group of drugs which are studied under hypnotics are called alprazolam, first one is alprazolam and next one is midazolam, and next one is triazolam. These are the special drugs which are studied under class 2, that is hypnotics. Now coming to the class 3, that is anti-anxiety drugs. It includes lorazepam, first one is lorazepam and next one is temazepam, Temazepum, temazepam, and next one is oxazepam. So there are some important drugs which are studied here. Anticonvulsants like diazepam, clonazepam, nitrozepam, and hypnotics like alprazolam, midazolam, and triazolam, and anti-anxiety drugs like lorazepam, temazepam, and oxazepam. So these are some important classes of benzodiazepines which are studied here. So if we discuss the uses, here, these benzodiazepines are used as sedatives and hypnotics. And next one is, whenever these benzodiazepines are given, it will increases the sleep time. That means it will increase the sleep time. How it increases the sleep time means it will increase the stage 2 time. It will increase the stage 2 time and it will decrease the stage 3 and stage 4 times. Stage 2 and stage 2 time is increased. Stage 3 and stage 4 time is decreased. And next one is, if these benzodiazepines are given, there will be no night tremors. That is, it will decrease the time of stage 4. Stage 4 is also called night terror. So if there is usage of these benzodiazepines, there will be no night terrors. So these are some, and these are also used in acute insomnia. And these are some uses of benzodiazepines. So there is one important antagonist which work against these benzodiazepines. If there is toxicity of benzodiazepines, there is a special drug that is called flumazenil. Flumazenil is a special drug which works as antagonist of benzodiazepines. Whenever there is toxicity of benzodiazepines, flumazenil will work. It will inhibit this benzodiazepine gamma 1 and gamma 2 type of receptors. That is flumazenil. And there are some drug interactions like, first one is like this diazepam along with lorazepam. Whenever this diazepam along with lorazepam is given, this combination is given in status epilepticus condition. that is status epilepticus condition. Whereas next one, this clonazepam is given in absence seizures. It is given in absence seizures. Whereas these benzodiazepines are also working as pre-anesthetic agents, that is, it is given as pre-anesthetic medications. So it is also used for giving muscle relaxations. Now, these clonazepam along with diazepam is used to treat tetanus and reduce the spasms. So, this is about direct benzodiazepines, and if we discuss the kinetics of benzodiazepines, it is taken orally and it will work in the rectum of children, whereas these benzodiazepines are metabolized in the liver. That is about kinetics. And if there are some drug interactions, like whenever benzodiazepines are taken with CNS depressants, like CNS depressants, then it results in excessive impairment in the respiratory system. That is, it results in impairment in the respiratory system. That is first drug interaction. And next drug interaction is benzodiazepines along with valproate. Benzodiazepines along with valproate. Whenever these benzodiazepines along with valproate is taken, it results in psychotic problems. Whenever benzodiazepines along with CNS depressants are given, it results in abnormality or impairment within the respiratory system. Whereas benzodiazepines along with valproate is given, it results in psychotic problem. This is direct acting benzodiazepines. Next one is non-benzenoid compounds. Non-benzenoid compounds. These non-benzenoid compounds will work on only gamma 1 type. Of subunit. These will work on only gamma 1 type of subunit. It results in sedation. So, what are the drugs which comes under non-benzenoid compounds are called? First tablet is called. First drug is zolpidem. 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 So, whenever this zolpidem drug is given, it increases the sleep time. So, it will increase the sleep time, and this zolpidem is metabolized within the liver. It is metabolized within the liver, and this zolpidem is used in conditions of insomnia, to treat the insomnia. That is first drug, that is zolpidem. And next drug is zopiclone. This is zolpidem and zopiclone. Zopiclone is a drug which is given orally. So, it is given in short-term insomnia. And this is second drug. And next one is ezopiclone. 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 This is a drug which is given in chronic insomnic condition. That is, it is given in chronic insomnic condition. And next one is Zalplon. So, It is given in sleep onset insomnia condition, and it is short acting non-benzenoid drug. So these are non-benzenoid drugs. So we have completed about benzenoids and non-benzenoid compounds. Next one is, let us discuss about alcohols. One example of alcohol is methyl alcohol. So these alcohol will result in two conditions. One results in CNS depressants. It results in CNS depression. It results in CNS depression and metabolite acidosis. It results in metabolic acidosis. So these alcohols are given in condition like paradoxical distinctions. Like when our alcohols are given, it will work as inhibitory neurotransmitter. So it inhibits the gamma receptors. So when our gamma receptors are inhibited, it will shows the positive signal. So it shows the positive signal. As a result, it will increase its action. And whenever its action is increases, it will show its action on different parts of our body. Like first, let us consider the action on central nervous system. What is the action of alcohol on central nervous system means? CNS depression. First one is CNS depression and stimulation. That is overstimulation. That is overstimulation. That is first action on central nervous system. And next action on gastrointestinal tract. If excessive alcohol is given, it results in appetite. It results in appetite and gastritis, and results in peptic ulcers, etc. That is action of alcohol on gastrointestinal tract, and it decreases the temperature. It results in evaporation and increases sweating. Next one is fourth action. It will act locally, like astringents and antiseptics. Works as astringents and antiseptics. And next action is, it will work on cardiovascular system. What is the effect of alcohol on cardiovascular system is cutaneous vasodilation. It results in vasodilation. And next one is myocardial infarction. Myocardial infarction. That is effect of alcohol on cardiovascular system. And next one, it results in depressions. It results in depression. And next one is, it will show its effect on liver. How it affects the liver means, that is fat deposition. It results in fat deposition, and next it results in hepatitis. It results in hepatitis, and last it will show its action on kidneys. That is diuresis. It results in diuresis. So this is the effect of alcohol. So in order to overcome these actions, there is a special drug called fomepizole. Fomepizole is a special drug which blocks the alcohol dehydration. So that is alcohol dehydrogenase. It inhibits the alcohol dehydrogenase enzyme. So this is the drug which is given in case of methanol poisoning. That is a drug which is given in case of methanol poisoning. So we have completed about alcohol. Next one is last category, that is barbiturates. So is barbiturates. These barbiturates are the derivatives of barbituric acid, which is combination of urea and malonic acid. Urea plus malonic acid. This combination of urea and malonic acid. So, what is the mechanism of action? Mechanism of action of barbiturates is, let us consider this one smooth molecules, and these are 3 smooth molecules. On each, this is AMPA receptor. That is AMPA receptor, and next one is NMDA receptor, and next one is glutamate receptors. So, whenever these barbiturates are given, it will inhibit the AMPA receptors and it will inhibit the NMDA receptors, and it will also inhibit the glutamate receptors. It will work on AMPA receptors, it will work on NMDA receptors, and it will work on glutamate receptors. And its function is to inhibit these AMPA receptors and NMDA receptors and glutamate receptors. And if we discuss the classification of barbiturates, it is divided into 3 classes, that is ultra short acting, and short acting, and next one is long acting. Ultra short acting and long acting. So barbiturates are divided into 3 divisions: ultra short acting drugs, short acting barbiturates, and long acting barbiturates. So what are the drugs which comes under ultra short active means thiopental, first drug is thiopental, and next one is methotrexate. Methotrexate. These are the 2 drugs which are studied under ultra short acting barbiturates. So what are the drugs which comes under short acting are butobarbital, first drug is butobarbital, and next one is secobarbital, and next one is pentobarbital. So these are the 3 drugs which are working here, which are classified under short acting barbiturates. And next one is what are the drugs which are working as long active barbiturates. These are phenobarbital, and next one is mepobarbital. Phenobarbital and mepobarbital. These are the 2 drugs. So this is the classification and the drugs which are included here are. Now, if we discuss the side effects, there are certain side effects of these barbiturates. The first side effect is it will work on central nervous system and results in depressions. And next one is it will block the ganglionic receptors. It will block the ganglion and ganglionic receptors and results in hypotension. If there is excessive usage of these barbiturates, that is barbiturate toxicity, then it results in blocking the ganglionic receptors. So when ganglionic receptors are blocked, it results in hypotension. That is more blocking of ganglionic receptors. As a result, it results in hypotension. So this is barbiturates. And next, last most important topic is melatonin agonist. What are melatonin agonists? What is melatonin is? Melatonin is a hormone which is secreted by pineal gland, which helps in maintaining the sleep wake up cycles. Which helps in maintaining the sleep wake up cycles. That is melatonin agonist. These melatonin agonists, these are the drugs which are given in case of insomniac condition. So these melatonin which are given will work on two types of receptors. Melatonin type 1 and melatonin type 2 type of receptors. So whenever melatonin type 1 receptors are activated, it results in sleep. That is G inhibitory protein will get activated. So whenever these melatonin type 1 receptor is activated, it results in sleep. When melatonin type 2 receptor is activated, it results in maintained cardiac rhythms. It helps in maintaining the cardiac rhythm. So what are the drugs which are working as melatonin agonists, like which are acting on MT1? That are, first one is Ramelton, Ramelton. Ramelton is the first drug, and next one is Agomelton, Agomelton, and next one is Tacimelton. So these are the three drugs which are working as melatonin agonists. Whenever melatonin receptors are activated, it results in sleep. The first drug is Ramelton, which activate this MT1 receptors, results in sleep, and next one is Agomelton, which working as MT1 and MT1 agonist and will increase the sleep, and last one is Tacimelton. So these are the drugs which are working as sedatives and hypnotics, and last ones are chloral hydrates and meprovarates. So this is about sedatives and hypnotics.